NFL writer Jeremy Fowler is here for his Fowler's 5. Normally this is when we do the Fowler Files, but we're switching things up with the Fowler's 5 today, where we're going to run through some headlines, 5 specifically, but Jeremy Fowler is going to fill us in on where exactly we're at. We're going to use this touchscreen, so everyone buckle up.
Swiping.
Here we go. We're swiping. And see, that's why I said buckle up. We're going to start with Aaron Rodgers. June 1st is tomorrow, I think. What's the holdup here?
Well, the holdup is the Steelers are just kind of hanging here, Shay. When I check with people with the team, they continue to say they've had contact with Aaron Rodgers. They've remained optimistic, but nothing has gotten us to the finish line yet. We always knew with his first foray into free agency in his 20-year career, this was all going to be very unpredictable. So right now the Steelers are working with Mason Rudolph and rookie Will Howard in OTAs. The hope would be that around May 10th through 12th, when they hit the field for mandatory minicamp, that Rodgers would be there. Right now, they're simply waiting.
Yeah, that makes sense. You like I said, I think tomorrow is June 1st. Okay, where am I? Where's my brain? Okay.
You're good so far.
Another AFC North team with things to do is obviously the Bengals. Trey Hendrickson looking to get paid. What do you know about him?
Well, he had said he plans to miss games if he doesn't get his contract. I've checked with sources close to Henderson. They believe that he is dug in here, that he could very well do that. He's made a lot of money. He is dug in on the fact that he just feels like they have not offered him, the Bengals that is, a contract commensurate with his skill set. So he wants something in that $30+ million range based on what those other top pass rushers are getting. Bengals made an initial offer in the spring. It wasn't quite where it needed to be. So now it's just truly a standoff. There's a lot of time left. Talking to executives around the league, they do believe that they can come to some sort of common ground maybe before training camp. But if not, I mean, he is prepared to sit out some action. We'll see how the conviction plays once the fines start coming. A lot of players end up coming, but he's not happy.
I mean, this is a guy that led the NFL in sacks last year, so it's wild that Cincinnati's kind of dragging their feet on this. Okay, we keep it moving here with Jalen Ramsey.
There we go.
Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make life easy. Jalen Ramsey. Tomorrow or next month, there's an important date on the horizon for Jalen Ramsey. Tell me more about it.
June 1st.
There we go, tomorrow.
If they were to trade Ramsey, the Dolphins, after June 1st, they would save almost $10 million in cap space. As opposed to doing it right now in May, they would be taking about an $8.5 million cap hit. So the plan still is for the Dolphins to move on from Ramsey. They've been talking to multiple teams. They've been engaged in trade talks. The feeling is they can get this done. The Rams have been involved to some extent. It's been hard to find another mystery team that's going to get this to the finish line. We'll see if LA steps up.
I watched a little Mike McDaniel press conference yesterday. Normally he's pretty chatty about things, very open. Not so much with one Jalen Ramsey. Okay, I got smart here. Here we go with Kyle Pitts. What do you know about him?
So there's a little trade buzz on that right now. I checked with a source who said that if the Falcons can get a really good offer for Kyle Pitts, that he very well could be moved. So it's not a situation where they're aggressively shopping him, but they certainly appear open. That's the feeling around the league, that they'd be open to moving him at the right offer. And so from Pitts' perspective, he does love Atlanta. He's not requesting a trade or anything, but my sense is he would at least be open to a new offense somewhere else, because right now he's probably the third or fourth option in Atlanta. Somewhere else he could be more prominently featured.
Yeah, after his rookie season, he's kind of dipped off a little bit. The good news, though, is that Pitts has played a full 17-game slate in 3 of his 4 NFL seasons. Okay, lastly, I feel like we've barely talked about Cam Ward. How is he looking early on here in Tennessee?
So one thing that has stuck out to the Titans coaches is that Cam Ward has been essentially living in the building. So he came in with the rep as a hard worker. I'm told they've had to kick him out of some meeting rooms, some coaches' offices, literally kick him out. Hey, we're good, man. You put your work in today. He is full go trying to learn the Titans offense. And the plan, my sense is the plan is they'll give him more and more. And so right now, they're easing him in. He's not getting all the first team reps. I expect that to change as the weeks go on, especially leading into training camp. And they have Will Levis, the third-year quarterback they drafted in the second round a few years ago. I think the plan is to keep him around right now. They feel like he can still be a good influence on Ward, and they can have a solid quarterback room.
Okay, but living at the facilities, I'm sure coaches love to hear that. By the way, Tennessee opens the season in Denver on September 7th. Jeremy Fowler with his 5. Thank you.
Thanks, Jake.
Since May 19th, but that isn't surprising. He's waiting for a massive contract extension, which could make him the highest paid non-QB in the league. And with that, we bring in CBS Sports NFL writer Garrett Podell, who covers the Cowboys for us, and he's been at OTAs all week. And Garrett, this is not the first time a star Cowboys player has not been present at OTAs because of contract matters. What exactly is the latest, though, on the Cowboys and the former Penn State star perhaps coming closer to agreeing to a contract?
That's a great question, Chris, and that's a multi-layered answer, because Micah Parsons, he would like to be at everything for the Cowboys off-season program, but he watched CeeDee Lamb have to hold out for his second NFL contract this past year, and that's what it took for him to get paid, and it might take the same thing for Micah Parsons. Now, to be clear, Micah Parsons is not holding out. As you mentioned, he did show up to the first OTA practice on May 19th and had lunch with head coach Brian Schottenheimer that day. I've been at OTAs, like you said, every media access they've allowed. Tuesday, the second OTA last week, he was not there, but he's been watching film and keeping up with coaches. I was there yesterday. He was not present again. Head coach Brian Schottenheimer told me he actually ran into Micah Parsons in the airport last weekend. They were both going to different locations for quick vacation getaways, but he reiterated OTAs is voluntary. And to refresh people, Micah Parsons in the past has liked to train on his own before showing up for mandatory minicamp and training camp. And to me, we're probably not going to see any movement on the Micah Parsons contract situation probably until July, when it really pushes up against training camp, because Micah Parsons has repeatedly said, he told me just before the start of the NFL draft, that he has urgency to get this deal done and wants to get it done so that he doesn't have to hold out of training camp, because there's a new DC in town for the third consecutive season. Matt Eberflus coming in for the departed Mike Zimmer, who replaced Dan Quinn when he left to go to Washington to be their new head coach. So Micah knows the importance of being there. Both Brian Schottenheimer and when I talked to defensive tackle Osa Odigizua yesterday, they talked about how Micah is a leader on this defense. And so it may take him continuing to apply a little bit of pressure on Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones to get this deal done before training camp. Now, he's been at every mandatory minicamp the last years. Then that will be really illuminating in a couple weeks if he's not there. But he's got an amicable relationship with Brian Schottenheimer, and we're still waiting here in Dallas.
Yeah, we'll just see, matter if it's going to come closer, right, to training camp, or if a deal gets done in the next few weeks or what so. Now, staying on topic with the defense, they had one of the worst groups last season, but what have been your early takeaways from their secondary group, specifically in OTAs?
That's a great question, because the secondary is probably one of the positions that has the most question marks. You have All-Pro from 2023, Deron Bland. He's back. He's healthy. He's out there. He's in a contract year. He's been rotating at outside corner and nickel, which is what he started out as after he was a fifth-round pick in 2022, replacing an injured Jordan Lewis. And that's because Trayvon Diggs, he's out with a knee injury and is rehabbing that. And then you also have another guy working back from injury, Kalen Carson. He's healthy, but a young guy who struggled, only played 6 games last year. They traded for Buffalo Bills corner Kaiir Elam, and he's someone who's really stood out to the coaching staff. He was a 2022 first-round pick from Buffalo. Dallas traded for him this offseason, and when I asked Coach Brian Schottenheimer about how do you feel comfort-wise with your secondary, he mentioned Elam as someone who's picked up the playbook really well and has tested in terms of the speed, the GPS tracking chips they have on the players, shoulder pads to see their heart rate and things like that. Elam's blown everyone away, running 23.5, 23.6 miles an hour at times. And I asked Elam about this, and he said, yeah, I'm the fastest on the team. Now, that's a stretch considering